Hi Prardhana,
Hi Dave.
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great, thanks for asking. Prardhana, first things first, your name is Prardhana, which means prayer.
Yeah.
But I want to understand the story behind Prardhana. Who named you Prardhana and how did you get named Prardhana?
Yeah. As the name says, Prardhana, we all know it's prayer, but it definitely has a story, and that's a great question because not a lot of people know about this. So when I was born with a lot of health complications.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
and the doctors didn't mention that wouldn't be able to make it. So that is when my parents were panicking because I was their first child, and they started to pray, and eventually I turned out to be a healthy baby, and they believe in, which I believe as well, that I am the answer to their prayers. So that
Alright.
is why my parents have named me Prardhana.
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
So, how are your parents? What's the relationship that you share with your parents? How is it?
It's quite good. Just like everyone else, I do have like a very close knit relationship with my parents. They're very supportive, very supportive. In terms of what I am today, the freedom that they've given me to explore what I want to do, or in order to achieve my dreams, or like to go after my desires or dreams, they've always been very supportive. Even in terms of not understanding what I do, they're still supportive, and they always are the cheerleaders that I have in my life. So,
Right, right,
yeah.
right. You're an entrepreneur, and being an entrepreneur, it comes with its own pros and cons, right? And especially when it comes to family and friends, the maintenance of relationships, maintaining them, being there for them, etc., etc. It takes a lot for an entrepreneur to balance that aspect, right? The work-life balance and all. And you're very young as well. You're not as experienced as other entrepreneurs. You're a very young
Right.
entrepreneur, which is commendable again. But having said that, I want to understand, since you do not have much experience of having this balance of work life, how do you put it right now? What kind of complaints do you get from your parents or from your friends, and how do you balance that?
I do not have a lot of complaints from family, to be honest, because I think they see me like day and night working hard, so they do not complain about me working hard. They definitely complain that I'm not able to take care of myself sometimes, maybe overwork and stuff like that. But I get a lot of complaints from my friends that I've not been able to make time for them, not talk to them, or hang out as I used to.
Right,
I was a
right.
very social person
Okay.
back
Used
in
to, you're
my
not now?
not very much, I
Okay.
believe. Back in my 20s, or in my 1890s, in my teens, I was a very social person. I used to go out every weekend, or at least make plans with my friends to catch up. And I like going around and all. But once I started getting into entrepreneurship, the focus is all towards building and all towards growing. So that is a personal choice that I made, that I wouldn't waste my time into things that don't bring meaning. It's not that I don't like to spend time with them. Definitely, I do like. But when you're focused onto one thing, you want to focus onto it, right? So you
Right,
do not want distractions.
right.
But saying that, I do get a lot of complaints, but I still try to meet them quite often, or maybe once in a month is what I keep
Once
for
in a
me.
month?
Yeah.
Acha. But having said that, Pradna, I want to understand, you growing up, because when you want to be an entrepreneur, I don't know if it stemmed from your childhood or later you wanted to, but then I want to understand, how was your childhood like? What did you want to be when you were a kid, and that aspect of yours?
Okay. Again, a great question which a lot of people do not know. I was crazy about becoming a doctor.
Oh, okay,
I can
okay.
show you pictures like after the podcast. I have a picture where I consecutively got dressed up as a doctor from, I guess, UKG, first, second, third,
Is
fourth.
that Halloween party kind of thing that you get
No,
dressed
the
up, or?
social worker
Achha,
fancy dress or
okay,
something,
okay, okay. The
some kind
annual
of thing.
days, yeah,
Yeah,
functions,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
okay.
And I was so crazy about it, and it was not something that my parents have planted, to be honest. They never really mentioned about anything about what you want to become or what you have to become, to be honest. Uh, so it was there in me that I wanted to become a doctor. So I passed out of 10th, and then I joined BPC in my intermediate, and then gave medical examination at least thrice. I gave NEET thrice. I was qualified, but I never made it to the ranking list where I was eligible to become, eligible to get a seat.
in a good college. Okay.
So what happened was, I was very, very focused on it. I don't know why I was, but I wanted to become doctor at any cost. And back then, when you are still like growing up, when you're 15 or 16, when you don't really understand the world around you, you only have a really small world that you've seen, and that world revolves around you. So I used to think that if I was not going to become doctor, what else was I going to become? I was considering myself as a loser, to be honest. So I told my parents that if not here, I want to go abroad and study medicine. And my parents were, as always, supportive. So they did send me to this country called Georgia. Do you know where Georgia is?
Yeah.
It's in part of Europe. So I
Apparently
went there.
one of the most beautiful places.
Yeah, it is a really beautiful place.
Yeah.
But
It's on my bucket list.
Yeah, it is. But it's not very livable, to be honest. It's like that countryside of
course, of Europe. I mean, of Europe.
Yeah. So I moved there. I started my semester, and then I realized I was very lonely at that point, because the place was new, the country was new. I was just 17. So hard to make friends. No one of my mindset, and it was a terrible place, to be honest. And my university was not that great. I used to have classes in the evening from 6 to 8 p.m. No facility of public transport, no food, and I mean, the place was terrible. I was, something in me was not fitting in there.
Right.
And that is when I spoke to my parents, and my parents were like, see, if you do not want to stay there, just come back. If that's not somewhere you're comfortable, that's a place where you'll have to stay for the next 5 years.
Right.
You can adjust for a day or a 2 or a month.
But 5 years, yeah.
But 5 years, it's going to be hell, and it's going to take a really big toll on your mental health.
Right.
End of the day, see, you do whatever you do, you'll have to be happy, is what my parents told me. So I just moved back, and that phase was the most clueless phase of my life and the most depressing phase, to be honest, because I didn't know what to do. All my life I was planning to become a doctor, and all of a sudden that dream is no more, and you don't know what to dream for next or what to aim for, because you thought you were good at it, but turns out that is not what destiny wants for you. So then I started to, there was this phase where I was applying for other courses, and I used to end up crying while writing the entrance exam or while filling up the application form, because it felt like as if I was not achieving what I wanted to achieve. But yeah, thank God I got through that phase, the most difficult phase of my life, and then I have decided to do something out of the comfort zone. So I've enrolled for this course called Bachelor's of Cybersecurity, and a cousin of mine was already settled in Australia. So then they offered me to come to Australia and just have a look. And then I thought maybe this would bring out a change, and I just took that step, even though it was not very comfortable at that point, because I just came back from Georgia, and I was still in the phase of if I should take that step, or if I should just stay back and do something very basic. And people around me during this phase, all of my friends were already in second year of their bachelor's, and I was in this phase where I was still not able to figure out what I want to do. So I used to avoid meeting people. I used to avoid talking to friends. There was this phase where I used to not even talk to anyone. So coming from that zone to here is quite a journey, and that transformation and that journey, I think if I was not able to go through that phase where I was struggling, probably I wouldn't have been able to make it today. So that phase was quite crucial. So that is when I decided to move to Australia. I got into the university that I wanted to, and then I went there. And the first few days, because I come from a non-tech background, I used to think tech was the most difficult thing, and I didn't want to do tech at any cost. But the first few days after my orientation, when I started to attend the classes and all, quite interestingly, that set of subjects or that set of assignments, I really enjoyed doing them.
Okay.
And that really surprised me, honestly. That was a point of self-discovery, where I discovered that, okay, this is something that I'm good at and that I can like doing it. So that is how I ended up, going to Australia and studying my bachelor's, and that is what I wanted to become. I wanted to become a doctor, but I ended up becoming something else. So yeah, that's been the journey.
Right. But you somehow managed to still become a doctor, but for technology, I guess, right? Because you code and you do all these things. But having said that, Pradhana, after listening to your story, uh, I think this is by far one of the most toughest phases in anyone's life, right? When you are stuck at a place and you see your friends moving on and doing great things, partying out there and then studying or going on a field trip, right? And I think that phase somehow breaks you from inside, right? I'm not just talking about you, but I've known people, perhaps I might have gone through it by any chance, I'm not quite sure if I can call it, but then I've known people who get anxious, where they get into their depressive episodes, where they don't know who to turn to, right? And that phase becomes completely dark, because at that point of time you feel like you're stuck and everyone is moving, and perhaps you don't have a future, or perhaps you're not good for anything, or your confidence goes down, and lots of stuff happens, and it's just very tough to even understand right now onto how much you have gone through, right? It's completely a different phase altogether, and I guess this is also one of the leading cases of young suicides as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? Because students get pressurized, the parents somehow, they are into the marks and all that, every time an exam ends, I mean, there's this CBSE exams like plus 12, you have to score this much and all that, and then you have to get into the right college, and if you don't get into the right college, you give your chances again and again, your exams, and by the time you give your exams, your friends are already doing something else, and I think this leads to a very claustrophobic space where you're depressive, where you're suicidal, where lots of things happen, and if you have come out of it, I'm really glad that you have come out of it. You have given your exams, you have been to a country, you didn't fit well, you had to come out, and now you had to go again to some other country, reading or learning something that you never wanted to or thought that you're not good at. It is quite inspirational, but at the same time it's also very terrifying, right? Today, looking at you, it is inspirational, but what if, right? And this could just go southways as well, I mean, this could go south as well. So I want to understand, how did you come out of it? Like, what was your mantra coming out of it? Because this is not for you, but that I want this to be out so that everyone knows about it, right? Because it just feels that like you're alone, in that particular phase. So I want to understand, how did you come out of it? What helped you the most?
I always used to have the mindset of not giving up, which was the strong force, I believe. And I don't know, there was something in me that didn't want me to give up at that point. And coming out of it, I think, see, a lot of people who go into depression, they seek therapists, they seek help. But in spite of seeking help, there are people or there are cases who ended up, self-harming in a lot of situations. So that phase, only you can help yourself. No one else can bring you out of it. It should be in you that you want to get out of it, or you want to get out of it and do something about it. So yeah, I think that was just there in me, that I wanted to get out of this phase, no matter what, or no matter what the situation is, no matter how, even if I'm clueless now, I should make up my mind and find some path to just get out of it. So that has been the major, I would say the major scope where I wanted to see myself somewhere better, and that is why I wanted to work on it and just get out of it. So yeah, that is what has helped me.
Right. So this would be your advice to students who might be going through the...
Definitely. If you feel pity for yourself, that means there's something that you'll have to work on, or if you feel bad for yourself, that definitely means you have something to work on. And only you can help yourself get out of that place. No one else can. Maybe you can get help from people, you can get emotional support, you can get, consolations from your friends, family, but end of the day, you will have to make up your mind on what you want to do.
Right. I remember having this conversation with lots of my friends who used to get into these episodes and feel like they're stuck. I remember telling them that, being something that you want to be, or achieving something that you want to be, is like giving birth to a baby. Right? Imagine a woman, right? I mean, when she gets pregnant, it's like joy, everyone is like happy, and they're like waiting, is it a boy, is it a girl? But the pain that comes, that only a mother knows, right? The kind of pain that she goes through, and then it's not just for a day or two, it's like for an entire 9 months, right? And or 8 months sometimes, right? But then at the end, I think no matter what pain you have, if you really, at the end, the mother gives birth to a healthy child, and the moment you touch that child, right, that skin to skin contact, which is very famous these days, I think the moment you do that, you know that how magical everything was, what pain led you to become as a person. So I think you have gone through a similar pain, of course not the labor pain, but similarly, and I'm really proud of you, right?
Thank you.
But having said that, let's lighten the mood. I want to get into your entrepreneur journey. First things first, I want to understand, how does your life as an entrepreneur like?
Okay.
Right? What do you do? How do you wake up? When do you wake up? And how busy does your day gets? Right? What time do you get for yourself? So I want to understand all of that.
Yeah. So I am not an early riser, unlike the other entrepreneurs, because I keep seeing a lot of videos about entrepreneurs waking up 5 a.m. in the morning, starting the day off. I try to do that, but definitely realized that I'm not that kind of, that I don't fit into that category of entrepreneurs, because my brain functions the most around 12 a.m., between 12 a.m. to 2 a.m.
Okay.
So, you know, what happens is sometimes when I try to sleep early, I end up losing those ideas.
Okay. Okay.
So I start off my day, I wouldn't say I'm a late sleeper, but I would definitely start off my day at 8 a.m. I wake up, I give some time for myself in the morning, where I try to organize what I want to do for the rest of the day. Usually I start my meetings at 12 p.m. Because I have the first half of the day for myself, where I'm prepared of like what's to come. So from 12 p.m. to until 3 p.m. I'm packed with calls, like let it be consultation calls or like internal team meetings where I talk to my teammates or the progress that we're making in terms of the business and all. After 3 p.m. I keep it for again myself, where I work on something that can develop me or my skill. So last month I was working on understanding how email marketing works. So I was testing out a couple of tools. So I keep that 1-2 hours after 3 p.m. for myself to, you know, work on something. Let it be like a product testing, or let it be just anything that I work on and get my hands on. And so that's going to take a couple of hours. But evening is the only time where I am on D&D mode. That is when I work out. So that's from like 5 p.m., usually 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. or 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. That space gives me a lot of clarity, to be honest. The frustration that you have during the day, you can take that frustration out when you're working out. So yeah, that's a very good space that I get in the evening. Post that, I just go home and have my dinner, and after dinner I keep some time for myself, where I do some research on like what's happening around the world, what's new, what's the update, and what's the latest news or what's happening. So I keep it for myself, and if there's anything major, then I keep a note of it, I make a note of it, and probably catch up on that for the next day. So that's how pretty much my day goes. It's pretty caught up mostly, but it's also a routine that I get to do most of the time, unless and until we have like a product launch or something that's coming up. Unless and until it's that thing, it's pretty much the same.
Very well. But then, you know, I have lots of curiosity in myself. That's why the podcast. You know, as an entrepreneur and as a 2 times co-founder yourself, what are the things that you have learned about business in general, about being a founder in general, or being a co-founder in general? What are the things that sets you apart?
Okay. I do not know what sets me apart, but I can definitely tell you the things that I've learned during the journey, and then you can tell me what sets me apart. Initially, when I got into entrepreneurship, I was very new to the concept, because until then I was working as a employee, and I didn't get to see the other side of the, you know, system. And first things first is you need to know how to talk to people. Let it be your employees, let it be your investors, let it be your founders. it's not the same way that you talk to 3 of these categories. So each category, you have your own way to connect to that person and talk to that person. That is when things will work out. So I got to learn this, system where I talk differently to my employees in order to connect with them, in order to get the work done with them, work done by them, or in order to get them to do the best. While coming to the investors, you do not need to have ego at any cost, and this works for clients also. When you're talking to a client, I mean, like, entrepreneurs come with a lot of ego, to be honest. But when you're talking with investors and clients, you need to zero down that ego, because it's not going to take you to places. The more humble you are in front of these two categories, the more business you make. So that's something that I've learned. And coming to partnerships, always find founders or co-founders who contrast your strengths. See, usually what happens is when you're looking for a co-founder, in most scenarios, you try to see the mindset match, which definitely is going to do the job for you. But alongside the mindset match, if you also look for someone who contrasts your strengths, let's say you're good with technical and the co-founder is good with soft skills or people's management, or like bringing in PR connections, then that's going to take you where you want to be even faster, because two people are working on two things at the same time. So it helps you faster your journey. That's something that I've learned, because my co-founders, they all have different set of skills, and they all contrast with what I have. I might be good with execution, but they are good with ideas. They're good with connections. They're good with bringing in investors, bringing in clients sometimes. So always find these kind of co-founders for yourself. That's something that I've learned. And another thing that I've learned is there are no day offs. I had to learn it the hard way, but yeah, there are no day offs. And you need to be happy about it, that you have to work 7 days a week, no matter what the situation is. And that's not something that you do it out of force, you have to do it willingly. Because sometimes, see, your employees do need a break, because they are in the employee mindset. But when you are focused on building something that's out of the league, or that only you can vision of, then definitely no day offs. So yeah.
One problem that I find myself being an entrepreneur is that no matter how much or how great employees you have, there will never be a situation where the vision matches. Right? You are the founder, it's your company, you're the CEO, you're the CEO, whatever position you are in, but let's say you are a stakeholder in the company, and the vision you have for the company will never match the ones that your employees got, right? I mean, there would be times where that, hey, if you do this work, it's going to tremendously help the organization, but they wouldn't do it. Right? There might be delays. And you want it so much, right? And I have learned this the hard way, that even though there's an organization, you can never be a founder if you're not working or if you're not getting dirty. Right? You have to put your hands on this. There's no, like, you could wait on someone and that someone would do it for you. I've learned it the harder way. And what I do is, sometimes, if at all there's an employee who's taking a leave, or let's say someone who's not doing to the speed that I want, what I do is I take over and I do the work myself, right? Because I know that, hey, if this emails get sent today by 5 p.m, things would be sorted. It would be better for tomorrow. And I think that's where it's very important for a company to hire the right talent. Right? So I want to understand from your end, what kind of struggle have you had when it comes to hiring the right talent, and what are your parameters in hiring the right talent?
Yeah. So definitely hiring has still been the issue so far. But in the initial days, we managed to hire mostly graduates, because my perception was that they bring fresh, ideas or fresh perspective, because they just graduated and they with this full of hope, and they're very enthusiastic to work at a new workplace, or because that's going to be their first job. So I try to pick these kind of candidates, but what happens is that when you pick these candidates who come with like no experience, you'll have to end up teaching them the skill from scratch. Now the other set of people where I've picked up experienced, skilled people, they come up with a lot of knowledge, lot of expertise, lot of experience working with like this brand, that brand, big brands and all. They can tell you 100 things that they can do, but execute only one. So that has been another scenario. Over-promising has been one scenario. So this pattern did repeat, and I have noticed how, see, my co-founder always suggests to hire Gen Zs because he thinks they are full of, you know, hope and then full of energy and can make things work. But my perspective is that working with them firsthand, they definitely have a lot of, you know, they're different from what we are, to be honest, and they do come up with like this fresh mindset.
I'm also a Gen Z.
I'm also a Gen Z.
Yeah, please. I'm interested to know about me now.
Yeah, they do come with like this really fresh perspective. But what happens is they all are very, you know, anti-hustle category of people. They want to do things the easier way. And not always the easier way is going to work out for you. Sometimes you'll have to, sometimes you'll have to.
I'm sure the startup, if you are running a business, there's no easy way to it.
Right. And these category of people don't understand the hard way, to be honest. So there have been quite a few struggles when it comes to hiring. So I'll tell you the difference on, you know, we had interns from Australia. So we are partnered with this university called Macquarie University. They're based in Sydney. And we are there with them for almost 3 quarters now. So every semester we get 10 students who are interning with us. So I'll tell you the difference that we have with the employees and the interns in Australia. The employees, they don't want to work on weekends. That's obvious. They don't want to work after 6 p.m. They do not want deadlines. Even though you have deadlines, they do not want to achieve it. Because every day you'll have to be behind them to, you know, do this, do that, do this, do that. But the other side, when we hired these interns, I had to only give them specific set of tasks and specific dates. And there was not once where I didn't get a task done on time. And these interns, I don't pay them. They only come there for a certification and for the experience.
For some experience, right.
So, see, when you are genuinely interested in something that you do, you will put your heart, sweat and blood into it in making it work. No matter how small the task is or how big the project or anything is. And see, most of the times when it comes to Indian students, they're not really sure on what they want to do or what they want to become. They might have taken that course because someone has recommended it or
their friends are doing it.
The friends are doing it, the parents are recommending. I'm not saying all of them, but the major chunk of the category, population. So by the time they graduate, they're forced to put into that job role which they do not want to do, I feel. That is when these scenarios come as a add-on where, you know, you don't want to get things done on time or you don't want to do something. Because see, imagine yourself working on something when you're not motivated enough to do something. That means you're literally pushing yourself to do that. So that is the difference that I've noticed, that see, if you genuinely want to do something and you want to make it work, you would definitely do it. So yeah, hiring is still a struggle for us, and I've seen this pattern, and it's not just with, you know, Indian students, it's also international students. But when it comes to international students, they know what they want to do. If they don't want to take up that subject, they'll drop it immediately. And say, I've had interns who've dropped halfway, saying that I realized this is not what I want to do. That's the reason I just dropped it off. So if we give that freedom to the young generation that's coming up, maybe we can bring in more workforce that has enough skill and who can give the best to whatever they're working on or whoever they're working for.
You know, this is like very fresh perspective, but then I really am very happy that you spoke about the experienced employees who overpromise and underdeliver, and at the same time, when it comes to Gen Z, the struggle that you have mentioned. But having said that, again, my questions remain unanswered. Right now, how are you hiring? Like, what are the parameters that you are taking into consideration? Is it the motivation or is it the skill that you're looking? Like, how do you balance? Because see, you have just mentioned, and of course I also know that both have their own pros and cons, right? But then how do you balance it?
Right, right. So when it comes to hiring, we do have 3 rounds in general. The first round is understanding them as a person, like understanding the soft skills, or in general, like why did you apply for the job, like how we generally do. The second would be technical. The third would be a hard part where we assign them a task in their field, and then we assess them based on that. But majority of the times I come to the conclusion the first round itself, because that is when you know what the person is, where they're coming from. So I see a couple of qualities in the candidate. One thing is definitely hard work. Second thing is ability to learn and execute. Even if you don't know anything, you still have the urge to learn, and the desire to grow. You can definitely do that in workspace. So I definitely, even though the candidate doesn't have really great technical knowledge, I still end up hiring them, because these people can grow. On the other hand, if I just end up hiring a candidate who does have a technical skill but who's not motivated, again, who's not good with soft skills or communication, then that's again a whole different process, which I don't want to end up doing. And more certain, I believe, technical skills are always replaceable. What is irreplaceable is your contribution that you make to the company. Let it be in any form. Let it be in any form. Any small contribution that you can bring to the company. I asked them in the interview, what can you bring to the company, or what do you bring? If they are able to answer that question, if they are able to impress me, then definitely that is something that I consider. And the other 2 rounds are just for the formality, I believe, just to make sure that they get through. Yeah.
Amazing. Do you have any jobs? I'll enroll it right now. But having said that, you have mentioned about skill gap that you find in employees in India and employees otherwise in other countries, developed countries most probably. What is the difference? Why do you think the skill gap is there? Apart from not letting Indians explore, apart from that, what else do you think is the major problem of this skill gap, and how do you think we can curb this skill gap?
Right. There is a really big topic that is unspoken about the education system and why Indians are not able to get hired. So, see, I'm talking on behalf of not just. Have you read the news recently? So there is about 60% of undergraduates who are unemployed. But it's not that there are no jobs. There are so many roles that are left, unfilled, that are left unassigned because of the skill gap. They get, if you're working in a company and if you're able to meet at least 5 or 6 of those skills, you get promoted to that job role because they're not able to find the right fit. That is what happens in corporates. And the reason why we are like this today, you see how the US job market is again. Most of the Indian students, most of my friends who moved to the US are jobless. And there are quite few reasons to blame: recession, job market, but Indians have been the major, population. Indian youth have been the major set of population that are left unemployed. And this comes again from the time we go to schools, from the time we go to colleges. Okay, so I'll tell you the education system on how it is different in India and abroad, and why when you study abroad, we all have this perspective that when we study abroad, we end up becoming successful, or we end up getting that job and all. And I tell you why this perspective comes from, where this perspective comes from. It's because majority of the education system abroad is all practical basis. Now what happens in the Indian education system is that, let's consider IT as a subject. What do? You end up reading a couple of topics, you take a couple of lectures, you end up writing a written exam that you don't even know end of the day. After you graduate, do you remember what you studied in your undergrad? No one does. Why? Because that's the pattern that you study something itself is majorly wrong. When you go and study a case study, or when you write a case study, let's say on a particular subject or a particular industry, you remember that very well. Why? Because you've done research on it, You went in, you understood what the pattern of that business module is or what the subject is, and you ended up writing something on your own. No barriers or no restrictions there. That subject you end up remembering until the end of your life. So this pattern, see, during my 4 year of undergrad, there was not one time where I wrote a written exam. There was not one time.
Right.
And my sister used to be like,
And
how
you
did
studied in Australia.
Yeah.
Which university again? I'm sorry.
Deakin University.
Okay.
And my sister used to be like, how did you end up passing without writing an exam? I'm like, that is the way we study, that is how it is. Do you see anything as such happening in India where you're
No.
passed out without writing an exam? See, all the theory that you read, if you're not able to execute it in real life, that's just waste of your time and energy, I believe. Whatever you're reading you should be able to execute it. It's like ending up writing a chunk of theory on your paper and not able to, practically perform it in real life. That is where we lag back. We are back in terms of education and why we are not able to get that skill. See, even today, after your undergraduation, there's still students who are taking up short courses or certifications, which are definitely crucial, but they need to be like an add-on, not like an essential part of your education. They definitely need. They definitely can be like
must
an add-on.
complement,
Yeah,
basically,
complement your
Right,
education, not
Not with the soul.
replacement, not replacement.
right.
So that is what's happening, because you don't end up learning anything in your undergrad. You end up finding some other course that you wanted to work in. That is where the self-exploration is coming in. This needs to come while you're in your 12th grade, where you need to know what you
Right.
want to do.
Right.
So yeah, that is where the skill gap is lacking in terms of the Indian education.
Right. I want to understand, since this is clear, but then I want to understand now. Let's say I've seen many friends of mine, of course, your friends as well. You mentioned that they go to abroad and they're still jobless. I want to understand, even though after going abroad, if they are studying, they've been exposed to different work, case studies have been given to them, project work. I've actually heard that they assign this project work to others to
Yeah.
write it as well. Should I say it on the camera? I don't know. Why are they still jobless? Why are they unable to secure jobs even after getting this kind of exposure from abroad?
Yeah. So I'll ask you a quick question. Out of 10 students that you know abroad, how many of them are not doing a part-time job?
Right. Everyone. Yeah.
Everyone
apart
does.
from one or two.
Everyone does. The main purpose of moving abroad has become part-time jobs, to be honest. Why?
Right.
They give you, they go with a big vision to get that job, to get that skill, to get that
Amazing
degree.
thumbnail. Best thumbnail so far. Wow. Really? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
they end up with a big vision.
Yeah.
See, ask a person before moving to abroad, what do you want to do moving abroad? He'll be like, I want to get that degree, I want to get into that university, I wanted to work for this company, I wanted to get into this role. After 10 years, I want to promote to a manager or a leadership role, and then probably settle down or come back or whatever.
Right.
But ask his perspective after going to abroad. It completely changes.
Right.
And it is also something that we blame is the environment that they are in. Because obviously when you move abroad, you want to be somewhere familiar, or with a friend or a cousin or a family. And they all come up with that sort of
That mentality.
mentality where, me myself, I'm not saying this out as a judgmental person,
Right.
but
Or
I'm
for
saying,
everyone. You're saying for people that you know about. Yeah.
because I've been in that position. When I
Correct.
moved to Australia as a student, all my friends were working in like petrol station, fast food centers. I myself did work in McDonald's, but not for a really long time. And there is this pattern where if you don't work a part-time job, they'll ask you, why aren't you working a part-time job?
Right.
Why aren't you earning when you have the space to earn?
Right.
You're wasting 24 hours in a week just to go to uni.
Right.
You can make money, buy a car here, you can make money or buy this thing there. So obviously money is tempting in that scenario. So you end up as if you're missing out on something in that case.
Right. I think it comes because of the freedom. And I think that's how it has become a trend now.
Yeah.
To go to abroad and you have this immense freedom there. No one's going to tell you what you're doing. I think that's where, when you have so many options, you don't understand what options are right for you and what
Right.
options are wrong for you,
Right.
and sometimes you fall for the wrong ones, sometimes you fall for the good ones. It all comes down to your judgment again, but I think it's because of that immense freedom of choosing anything that you can be or anything you want to be. I
Right.
think that's one major problem. But thanks for sharing this, because I never thought that this could be a reason why, why there's a skill gap even when we are going outside
Right.
and learning.
I actually wanted to add something there when you said freedom. There is this psychology, fact where if you don't get to choose for yourself on what you want, others will choose it for you.
Right.
Right. So when you have this space where you're open to do anything, just go with the flow, or I don't know, I'll just figure it out, then you are forced to do something that others are doing, because then they'll tell you do this because you don't know what to do. Right.
How did
So-
you break this cycle?
Yeah. So I was,
since you were also
right,
in Australia, I
right,
want to understand
right.
what took you to be this person, what took you
Right.
to not choose them and
Right.
choose yourself.
Right.
How did that happen?
So when I went there as a student, I was also working part-time. But initially I didn't have any skill, to be honest. And then COVID hit. Okay, and there was complete lockdown in Australia, and I didn't know what to do. Then a cousin of mine, she was working in a digital marketing company back then. I asked her, can you teach me the skill? I just wanted to learn. You don't have to pay me anything. I'll just work for you for these set of hours during my uni days. She taught me a couple of skills, and then I really liked the subject. And then I started to explore a bit of website designing part of it while in COVID. Like that was the 3-month gap. Right after that, I did end up working in McDonald's, because that's the first thing that opened
Okay,
in
after
Australia
the-
after
after the
COVID.
lockdown, okay.
And they were hiring vigorously, and they were paying like around $40 an hour.
No, okay.
So a friend of mine recommended me, saying, okay, there's this availability, do you want to work? And by then all my friends were already working. I was the only one who was jobless, to be honest. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll give it a try. And to be honest, that's the space where Indian students work, the situations or like this, the environments that they work in, they're very harsh. And McDonald's is a reputed franchisee, and even when I talk about a reputed franchisee like McDonald's, they still have very harsh working circumstances, like working conditions, where I was asked to clean the grills, and I was asked to fry french fries, and when you're in front of oil for such long time in that temperature, you end up feeling nauseous. These are the situations. And then I used to be put on night shifts for like weeks. I worked there only for 3 months, but for weeks I was on night shift. That messed up with my mental health, my health in general,
physical
because
health, yeah.
I was not sleeping in the night, and then I used to not be aware of what's night, what's day. I used to not be able to focus on my education, to be honest, because all I used to think about is, okay, I need to be working night shift, I need to sleep now. And I used to give very little time for my assignments. I really didn't like that job. Even though it was paying me good, I didn't like it at all. And I was finding ways to get out of the job, to be honest. And then I moved my house right then. Like I was in a suburb, then I moved to a city. And then I started actively applying for part-time roles, no matter which role it is, but a professional role. Let's say, see,
regarding to you, which is to your education.
Education and something that
Related
skill
to,
skill. So in this meantime, I quit McDonald's because I was not able to be in that surroundings, and then I started working as a barista. Again, I was sticking to 20 hours a week, but this job was from 5 a.m. in the morning to 2 p.m. all standing. I was not allowed to sit there. So I used to make around 50 to 60 coffees every day. And then one day, a friend of mine, she was in India back then, she asked me, you moved abroad, and what are you doing? And then that hit me. Like, see, this skill, this job, tomorrow if I'm gone, someone else can replace it. I need to be there in a place where I'm irreplaceable.
Right.
I need to be learning a skill if I don't know one. Or, see, I know I am capable of doing something better. And this is not where I belong. This is something that everyone can do. If I want to stand out, if I want to survive in a race, then I have to make sure that I know something, or I at least, work on something. That is when I started, learning some small course, and I ended up giving an interview. The interviewer was very impressed, and then he got me into the job. And right before I was joining, I got the offer letter, everything. The next day I was about to join, he messages me saying, "Hey, we have filled this role with someone more capable, so I don't think I can give you the role." By then I quit the job. I quit the barista role and everything. So then I was like, what am I supposed to do now? Like, I quit everything. Should I be going back to McDonald's or what? And then again, I started asking for references. Like, do you have any job that you have for me? Something that's professional. And then everyone had this perception that students don't get professional jobs. Why? Because they never tried. So I was like, why can't student get a professional job? I don't think I'm not that incapable of not getting a job. That is very basic. So then one fine day I got a call from a recruiter, and that was an IT support role, and they were hiring only full-time candidates, no part-time. I did mention to them that I was still in my third year of my bachelor's and I have like 2 days of uni, so you might have to give me off on those 2 days. They were like, I can only accommodate 1 day.
Okay.
And then I was like, I joined the role, and after a week or so, my manager really liked the way I was performing. I was, catching up on things, and he told me that I was a very fast learner and all that stuff. Then I told him that, see, I have uni for 2 days. I'll have to make it to uni. But at the same time, I'm learning a lot of things at this role. So I want to keep the job, but I still want to focus on my education. He was very considerate at that point, and he did accommodate to, give me 2 days of leave. And that is how I gradually, upskilled and got into a cybersecurity analyst role. That was the last role that that was in Australia.
Right.
I really liked that job. It did give me a lot of opportunity to learn, grow as a person. And I'll tell you the funniest part. So even in my professional jobs, I was not able to make as much as I was making with my odd jobs, to be honest. But I still picked the professional job because end of the day, you either need to earn or you either need to grow.
Right. Earn or learn. Yeah.
Earn or learn. If you're not doing either of those things, then you're not moving anywhere in life.
Right.
So I thought, see, today this job might not be making me thousands of dollars, but the skill that I'm learning in the job eventually will help me get there.
Right.
So a lot of my friends used to be like, why are you not working on the weekends? Weekends get you paid $60. You should take a part-time role, even if you're taking a full-time job or like this and that. I still was never, sold to that idea of working part-time just because it makes money.
Pays you more money. Yeah.
No. I mean, like, the job that I wouldn't do in my country, what makes me move abroad and do that job? Would you work in a petrol station in India? Would I work? No. But why? We all label it as dignity of labor. But see, that again comes to the point of introspection where you need to understand where you stand end of the day.
What do you want to do?
What you want to do, where that job is going to take you.
Right.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and I also tell the same thing to my friends. When they move to abroad, even now on video calls, sometimes I tell them, why are you doing this? You can get a job, apply. And they're like, no, you don't understand this or that. Sometimes they get cranky.
Yeah.
They do get cranky
They
when I
do.
tell them to get the job, and I somehow manage to not tell them now. I'm like, theek hai, if you're doing, let it be then. But I've always told them, and they get cranky every time. If they listen to this, they'll know ki, yes, it is true. But having said that, from a cybersecurity analyst job role to someone who has founded a cybersecurity company, a tech company for cybersecurity, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
I want to understand the journey of yours. And cybersecurity is something that's there, but I have no knowledge about. I have very, very, very few knowledge. The only time I've heard about cybersecurity was in 2022 or 2023 when there was a conference I had attended it. It was a cybersecurity conference, and there were a couple of questions asked, and I was there. I sat in the conference and I've heard lots of insights. But apart from that, I don't know much. I want to understand what's the very basic of cybersecurity. Why is it important, and what role does it play even when we do not know? Because everything is cybersecurity right now. Even if you're
Right.
talking in your phones, everywhere, all the technology, everywhere there is cybersecurity, and it is must, because there's always a risk of exploitation of your
Right.
private information, data, whatnot, right? So I want to understand your transition to become this founder of a tech cybersecurity company, and then what and how cybersecurity is important today.
Right. So initially, back of my mind, it was always there for me to do something on my own. So I wanted to do something that is very familiar of where I am at the moment. So because back then, that is when I just graduated, and I had few people in my network who were, consultants, who were cybersecurity consultants. So I asked them, would you be open to mentoring students in, bringing them awareness about cybersecurity, or just cybersecurity as an education? They were open to that concept. So that is when I was like, see, I didn't have a big plan of action back then. Just wanted to start off somewhere and see where things go. Because I was new to the market again. I didn't know what the market was back then. So I was like, okay, fine, let's just make it a start and see where it goes. And then I just ended up, getting collaboration with EC Council, and the EC Council is the board, that identifies professionals
Easy
who
counsel,
have, yeah. So I got collaboration with EC Council, and I did end up getting in a couple of students to, take in these short courses. But in this journey, what I noticed is that India lacks a lot in terms of cyber literacy. Yeah, you see, every other day, even now, the government has taken the initiative to
They're doing a
inform
lot
you.
now. They're trying a lot now.
Yeah, now. But imagine the last 5 years, the damage it has caused to its citizens. It's crazy. Like, if you look at your friend circle of families only, one or two might have ended up getting a spam call talking about some delivery.
And they also got scammed.
Yeah, they also get scammed. So I did realize that rather than providing a cybersecurity service where these people do not know what exactly cybercrime can cause, I first need to educate them on, what it is, what are the loopholes of it, where it can lead you to. So that is where the ideology came of, first bringing in awareness among citizens, because cybercrime in India is like crazy, and not just India, across the world. But I'm pointing it specifically towards India is because we are unaware of the damage it can cause. So when I bought this idea to one of the investor, he was like, see, cybersecurity service is something that a freelancer can also do. What is so special about you? Why don't you have a product? And back then I was like, what product am I supposed to bring? A antivirus software that which is already there in the market.
Right.
So this is something that has to be done on a personal level. See, if I give you a piece of so if I give you a device and be like, this will help you learn about cybersecurity, would you make the effort to, go into the device or like explore it? Rather than me talking to you about cybersecurity is more interesting.
Right.
So that is where I understood that there is a missing, gap in cybersecurity where I wanted to fill in terms of, awareness and education. Yeah. See, back in, if you consider 2010, maybe cybersecurity was still rising at that moment because hackers were still exploring phase. But now we've got to the point that hackers have explored everything. Now they're just waiting for a bait, and we are being bait to it. Yeah. See, now everything, take it from the mobile you use, the laptop, the CC cameras, the pretty much everything, Wi-Fi, everything can be hacked. And this not a lot of people know again. And see, I had a scenario where there's a family who has a CC camera in their house. Okay. And not a lot of people know about this, but when you take a CC camera connection, the service provider also has access to it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That is because we do not have strong set of cybersecurity policies or rules
In India.
Yeah. That has come recently, like very recently. But before that, there were a lot of illegal things happening like this. And the worst part is, there was this one time where some guy, he morphed a picture of my mom and he sent it to my mom saying that you owe me money, you've taken loan from so and so app, and you have to pay back, this is your Aadhaar card number, this is your address, and all these details he was giving. My mom was like, I didn't take any loan, what is the proof that I took a loan? He brings out statements from a so and so reputed bank saying that this is the statements that I have. Now imagine that guy got access to your banking statements. Who has access to your banking statements? Just you or your bank.
Right.
That means there is a leakage in the bank which the bank also doesn't know. And the level of ignorance that this is on is crazy. So what happened is, after we got those calls, I was in Australia back then, so I was like, you have to complain this to the police because this is a very critical issue. So my mom and my dad, they went to a police station. They first tried dialing on the cybersecurity number, and then they were like, you'll have to go to your regional police station and file an FIR because this is not something that we can do. So they went to the regional police station, they filed an FIR, and the inspectors or like whoever filed the FIR were like, just give us a week or two, we'll give you an update. And a week or two after, there's no update. And then he ends up telling, you should be careful with your bank statements, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. Like, what is the amount of security that the bank is giving or the government is giving us? See, you go to file a complaint, a cyber security complaint to a police station, there's no action taken on it.
Right.
They're not even able to, trace where this guy is coming from. He was like, there are certain set of groups who are doing this and we are aware of it, but we're not able to catch all of them.
This is again to call out all those bodies, all the government bodies and police who are terrible when it comes to cybersecurity. Right, me and my friend, my friend, he got scammed for like 10,000 rupees or something, and we went to the nearest police station and they asked us to write on a paper what all happened, the details, etc. We all did that, and then the police guy, instead of taking the paper, he took the paper, but then after that he told, do one thing, you also call to a number, I'll give you a number. I'm like, okay, cool. He gave us the number and we called it, and they say, right, when the line is busy you have to wait and all that. We waited for 2 hours in the same police station and it kept on ringing. The battery of the phone was around 70. After the 2 hours it came to 40 and it was still ringing. No one picked the call. There was no action. After 1 week, 2 weeks, we have been to the police station asking for updates. There were no updates. They were like, there are certain people who are doing it. And I think this is the same copy-pasted answer because you are the same answer. We are the same answer too. They were like, you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be doing that. And there are some certain group of people who are doing this from Rajasthan or from Madhya Pradesh, we don't know. I'm like, if you know their places, if you know there are groups, what are you doing?
Exactly.
Fine, we understand that we have to be careful. Fine, understood. We will be careful. But then these are something that we don't do it voluntarily. And if it's happening, instead of going, catching them or doing something out of it, you tell the people to be careful. What sense does it make? I mean, okay, cool. You're trying to bring in awareness. People are learning, understanding. Very good. But at the same time, what are you doing as a body? You as a body, you're not someone who is there for awareness. You're not an NGO. You're not here to spread awareness and you're like, my job is done. No.
Body with a power.
Exactly. You're a body with a power. You have to take actions in your hand. You're not here to aware. I mean, for awareness, if I wanted awareness on cybercrime, I would go to an NGO. Exactly. I would go to a non-profit organization, sit there. They'll give me a free workshop. But then who are you? You are a government body, your police department, or people or citizens who look up to you. And you have duties. Of course, you're sharing the awareness, but at the same time, you have to take action as well.
Right.
There's no action whatsoever. And I don't know, after this reel, I'll definitely put it out. And I'm sure there would be many people who would be, confining with us. I mean, they would be saying yes to us. There'll be +1. I don't know what's happening, but are there any policies right now? Are they doing anything about it as of now, or is it the same? Do you think there are any changes?
As of now, I haven't heard quite a lot, but I did get to know from a common friend that they're taking in some strict policies. They've bought in more cyber awareness or doing some
Exactly.
workshops.
I don't care about your awareness part. I want action. I
Actions,
want
I
go
don't
bring in
think.
people, go catch them, or do
Maybe out
something.
of 10 cases, maybe they would have caught at least 3, but the others are still there.
Because this friend of mine, 10,000, it wouldn't matter. But the other people, when they come from poor backgrounds, especially, or underprivileged backgrounds, their whole bank accounts are robbed because they have no idea. They share the OTPs, they do everything, and if something like that happen, what are the resolution that you're giving?
Exactly.
Right? I'm more concerned about that part. But chalo, having said that, now since you have started your company, and did you raise funds, by the way, for cybersecurity? For what is the name of the company though?
Cyber
Cyber Oh, okay.
Yeah, Cyber
Cool.
technology.
Oh, that's a great
While
name.
you're on that note, let me tell you this another scenario that we have in terms of cybercrime. So when I moved to
Oh yeah,
Australia,
please. Give me the bizarre of bizarre ones. Yeah.
when I moved to this is an eye-opening scenario that people are going to judge the crimes that are happening around. Okay, so when I moved to Australia, I was still studying. I was still in my first or second semester. I got a message saying that your parcel is in the nearest post office. You need to pick it. But before you pick it, if you want it to be delivered to your doorstep, you will have to open the link and pay some $20 or $30.
Okay.
I was unaware back then because just like you and me, see, I might have studied cybersecurity, but a lot of people don't. So I just opened the link, made the payment, and my money got deducted. Okay. And then I realized that there was no parcel, that I didn't order anything. And then right away, in my business transactions, I went to that transaction, and I went to the support and I raised a ticket saying that my money got deducted and it's a cyber crime. I don't have any parcel or anything. Just in 10 minutes, I got a call from the bank asking for details like what this is, and they took the screenshots where it's coming from, the number or whatsoever. I got this money refunded back to my account in 4 working days.
Wow.
The bank is nowhere related, to be honest. Maybe, yes, definitely that my money are in that bank. But they would have been like, you gave the OTP or you yourself made the payment. How would we be responsible? Aren't you aware? Aren't you educated? These are all things that they might have to ask me. But no, they take the responsibility that when you are trusting and putting money in our bank, it's all our responsibility to keep it safe no matter what. And the bank that I'm talking about is Commonwealth Bank of Australia. Most of them use that bank. And this is not the one, just the only scenario that I faced with cyber crime in Australia. There is a lot of cyber crime. But the way they are making sure that I'm not sure if they are going to catch these cyber criminals or they do a lot of awareness again. But end of the day, see, the citizens, I'm not even a citizen of that country, to be honest. I'm just a resident. They're making sure that even a resident is not harmed by the cyber attack. It's equal to a physical attack. It's equal to a physical incident happening to you. It's equal to a crime. And they're taking the utmost, priority of making sure that you're not harmed in any way.
Right.
Now consider the scenarios that we get to see every day here in our country. I definitely get we are still a developing country and we might not be able to, afford to that much, but at least we need to be making sure that it's not happening again. So yeah.
So how did the edtech company go for the Cyber Eve?
Yeah. So see, then I realized that Cyber Eve was very early to the market, to be honest, because again, in order to make
Which year did you start?
This was in 2022. Okay. The year I moved back to India.
Okay.
So
so you started it in India?
Yeah, it is in India. I did register it in Australia as well.
Okay.
But yeah, the base operation was in India. I did have a couple of consultants from Australia there. Okay, so when I started off, I didn't know that I was new to the market and I was early to the market. So in order to convert someone, it took me around 4 months because I had to educate them, I had to spread awareness, I had to make them know what the impact that it can bring and all that stuff. So it was quite a time-taking process. So then I realized maybe I want to push Cyber Eve into more of educational and awareness part of it and put this for the later part of the entrepreneurship.
All right.
Because I have to be in a race which is more ambitious and which is going to get me to places,
Right.
and I cannot do it by myself.
Right.
Definitely, I'm going to admit it, because no race can be won, especially in the startup world. No
Right,
race can be
right,
won
right.
alone. You need a team, you need a co-founder, you need like-minded people, you need people who come from different backgrounds to make it work. So that is when I thought I'll put this hold for a while and get into the actual ecosystem of startup. That is when I collaborated with my co-founders and got into Wittlesbach, and that is how it moved from cybersecurity to what I am currently doing.
Right. Please tell me the name of your new company again. I forgot.
It's called Wittlesbach.
Right. Yeah. So the next company being Wittlesbach, right? Tell me about it.
So Wittlesbach started off as a traditional digital marketing agency. We were providing services like how
Is it registered in India?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Achha, before that, I want to understand what takes for a student to register a company in Australia, because you've registered the company, your company CyberEve as well in Australia. So what does it take for a student to register? Are you allowed to register? Like how does that happen?
Definitely, yes. So if you want to register a company in Australia, you need a ABN number. That's called an Australian business number. And you are eligible to have an ABN number as a student, unless and until you're sticking to your working hours. So that's 24 hours a week or 48 hours a fortnight, if I'm not wrong. If you're sticking to these set of hours and working only in these hours apart from your university time, then definitely you are eligible.
Very
to
flexible.
Run. Yeah, very flexible. Very flexible.
Oh, right.
So any student can apply for an ABN number. I think
And who does this check that whether you're sticking to these numbers or not?
There is government who does checks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I mean, in most of the scenarios, students do manage not getting caught, but if they do that check, then you are screwed up.
Right. You're deported.
You are deported right away.
Right. And this is only for entrepreneurs, like for startups or something, or what does this imply? The number, is it only for someone, a student, to start a startup or
the working hours you're talking about?
No, the number that you mentioned, the ABN number.
ABN number.
With that number, can they be available? I mean, would they be able to work as well in a company, or can they start their own company? Okay.
Yes, you can work in another company and definitely have an ABN number.
Okay.
ABN number is just a generic number for whoever who wants to start up a business. It doesn't matter if you are already working. It's still like a side hustle that you can keep for yourself. So anyone can have an ABN number. The residents have the ABN number. The citizens have the ABN number. It's an authorized number that makes you eligible. So there is this website called abn.com.au where you can go and look up if a business is registered in Australia. So if you go and look up CyberEve Technologies, it is registered under my name with an ABN number.
Oh, okay.
So that is how you know it's an authentic business, and that is how the checks are done.
Right. One question. So let's say I'm in Australia and I am working for another company, right, as an employee, with respect to my working hours only, like per week, whatever number of hours I'm allowed to. Would I need an ABN number?
You would need a TFN number in that case.
What number?
TFN number.
Okay, what does it stand for?
I'm not exactly sure, but it's called some tax. Some number.
Okay.
It's related to your taxation.
All right.
Okay. So every employer who's paying you will pay you a TFN, which goes into tax. So that is how they know you're working for these set of numbers. So you can also have an ABN number if you have a TFN number. You can have both. So you can take your business transitions on your ABN number and your full-time or part-time role that you're doing on your TFN number.
Right. See, this is why we're getting so many knowledge, lots of knowledge. I'll put it online. Very good. We have got nice thumbnails, nice everything. Cool. Now we'll get back to your second company. We'll talk about Wittlesbach. See?
Yeah.
So you mentioned that Wittlesbach you've started as a marketing agency. Right. Now you have pivoted into a AI marketing tool, if I'm not wrong.
Product, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What is it about?
So I'll first tell you about the generic agency that we were and what made us push into a product. So when we started off as a digital marketing agency, there were still competitors in the market.
Of course.
But we thought we might
It's a
be
very
able to.
cutthroat competition even now.
A lot. Yeah, a lot.
Every day some of the other marketing agencies
Exactly.
popping up.
Exactly. I mean, go look up on your Google Maps, go type in digital marketing agencies, you get 10 or 50 around you,
Right.
just in like 5-kilometer radius. So when we started off, we had only one goal, that we want to work on performance marketing. So what is performance marketing? Is that you own a business, we are responsible for your digital sales. That is what performance marketing does. I mean, like, there are different categories there. Again, it helps you in branding, it helps you in awareness, it helps you in identifying to your ideal customers. Sales. But our main
Predominantly for
ideology was
sales.
revenue, because
Right.
end of the day, you're taking service from me and you'll ask me, how much revenue have you brought to my business?
Right.
That's what a business person's or businessman's mindset is going to work like. So we were like, okay, we'll only focus on performance marketing. But what happened was that the competitors around us started to take in most of our clients, because there was a point of comparison where the leads that were coming to us,
Right.
first thing was they were comparing on the price. The other competitor might be providing you ad service for, let's say, 20,000. What we are doing is performance marketing for 70,000 rupees. That means you get guaranteed revenue. But they don't want to bet on this because it's a new concept and because it's not promising. He would obviously go for the
cheaper ones. Availability.
I mean, in India, the cheaper you sell, the faster you sell, is what I've learned. So it came to the point where, people started, most of the friend circles also started picking competitors. Why? Because they were providing services for cheap. Second thing is they were good at branding, graphic designing, social media. These are the things that came to comparison, and we were nowhere close to what we were selling, to be honest. What we were selling was revenue for you.
Right.
But you are looking into views, reach, how many. So if you're starting a new business, is the reel going viral? Are you shooting video for us? How many followers are you getting? And I'll tell you this scenario that happened when we were doing LinkedIn marketing. When we were a traditional agency, there was a lead. I was sitting in the sales call and he was asking our business development manager, so you do digital marketing, but why don't you have so many followers? You only have about 800 followers. That means you'll have to work on your followers. And then, see, that's the mindset and perspective that these clients are coming from. So when we talk about revenue there, the other thing that we had to do in order to provide value was guaranteed results. If not, 40% is going to be refunded. That is when people started to actually buy the idea of performance marketing. When you give them guaranteed results and when you be like, see, you invest so much, we give you so much results, if not, take back your money. And in order to also, convince these people to, buy that idea also took us quite a lot of time in terms of spreading awareness, in terms of taking calls, consultations. There were times where we were getting on 5 consultation calls with the same client just to explain the same thing over and over again. He was pretty much brought by the idea, but he was not convinced enough to invest in it. So it is quite a challenging industry when it comes to digital marketing. And if you don't have a USP, you are definitely going to be kicked out very quickly in it. So that is when we wanted to focus only on revenue part. Then what happened was AI came into action, and there were pretty much a lot of tools when it comes to digital marketing where you can use AI. But they were all individual tools. Let's say you are setting up a funnel, let's say a digital marketing funnel for a client. So it starts off with like logo designing, setting up social media pages, finding out who your target audience and all. For every stage there's a tool, but you'll have to use the tools differently. So the first tool that you're using might not have a connection to the second tool.
The integrations,
The flow is missing. So that is where we found out that what if we could bring this AI into a product where it gives you end-to-end, detailed plan of actions, performs this task for you. Your job as a business owner would only be go and review where your money is going. It would basically be like a stock market portfolio or stock market dashboard where this week you've invested 500 rupees for your ads or for your budget,
And how much did you
and how
get in
much
return?
are you getting in, where your money is actually going, which Meta also doesn't give you. Meta, have you worked on Meta ads
Yeah,
platform?
yeah, yeah.
Do you know if you put in 500 rupees, it does give you an estimated of reach your post is getting or estimated audience view, but does it actually give you where every rupee is going?
No.
No. So that is where we want to crack down and to understand, even if an audience, even if a targeted lead is seeing your ad and not performing any action, it does give you hotspots on where or how
You
he's
got a view.
scrolling or like where he's clicking.
Wow.
That data is so crucial for your next campaign, not this campaign, but the next campaign, because the next campaign, you know,
What not to, who not to
target, what not to do, where to actually spend your money, and what you could do. And we are betting quite a few numbers on this product because it's giving amazing results. We've tested on about 10 clients now, the existing performance marketing clients, and you won't believe the numbers. See, when you usually set up an ad campaign with a performance marketer, the results are 50-50. You ask the performance marketer, he'll also say the same thing. I'm not sure where it goes. It goes into learning, they'll give you multiple reasons. But you bet it on the platform that we're building, it gives you 80% results.
Wow.
That's quite like double of what is happening. So, and also if it's not working out, you can still rectify it then and there, seeing your dashboard. It also gives you prompts. It's just very, very easy to use. Even a 10th class student or even someone who's learning performance marketing can also understand how it performs without a lot of technical knowledge.
Right. Cool. What's your business model? What's your revenue model looking like?
So our revenue model is basically going to work on subscription basis.
Okay.
But alongside, we're also working with a couple of digital marketing agencies. We wouldn't call it as white label because we're still in a bit of testing phase. So we want to test it out to different segment of audiences. So we're giving this to digital marketing agencies to test it on their clients, and if they like the results that they're bringing in, then we will sell the product to the client, is what we are planning to do. But majorly it works on subscription base, also revenue share basis, which we're still contemplating on it. So we're not very open to that idea, but we still want to explore it because we are so strong in what we can achieve with this product that we want to give our all in, and we want to be like, the product has to be like your revenue partner and not like just a tool that you're used, to be honest. So yeah.
Right. You know, the toughest part about a startup and making sure that it's moving, especially when you're in the tech startup and you have to build the products which cost bombs now, is funding, right? So I want to understand, how did you raise your funds? Because I've seen that you have raised around $500K, if I'm not wrong, US dollars or?
US.
Yeah. So I want to understand, how did you raise the funds and how did you convince? Because it's really tough. I've been trying myself. Quite some rejections and the hustle, you have to do it again and again. You have to put that smile on your face. How did you and the company and your other co-founders, how did you all manage to get the funds?
I would majorly give this credits to my co-founders because as I mentioned, I'm not good at the whole thing of a startup. I'm good at executing, but when it comes to fundraising, I think they've done majority of the work. But I'll tell you how it happened. Initially, when we were going to investor meets, I'm good with pitching, but I'm not good with feedback, to be honest. So
What do you mean by you're not good at feedbacks?
I mean, every time I used to get rejected for an investor call, which happens quite often, that used to disappoint me a lot. And it used to, give this thought where maybe the product is not that, fit for the market. Maybe we'll have to work on it. But later on, I realized that we were pitching it to the wrong investors, to be honest. There are a whole segment of investors who are waiting for you to come up with the right idea, but have a solid plan of action and a proper proof. What usually misses in the startup ecosystem, especially when you go to a VC, is that most startup founders pitch the potential, saying that, okay, we can do this, we can do that, but they don't actually see, you don't know, or the VC does not know if that is going to work out. So if you're coming from a place where you already have a base of proven results of what you've done, if you go with that pace, it gives you more leverage when it comes
Right.
to talking in terms of revenue with the investor. Because then you can be like, see, we've already done this for whatever capacity we had. But imagine what if you invested into this idea.
Right.
Imagine the potential it can have. Then the potential is definitely going to work. So yeah, coming to the investors again, there were quite a lot of rejections, and there were quite some times where the investors came in very close to closing and backed off. There were quite such scenarios like that. But eventually, I think mutual connections, PRs, did play a major role when it comes to investors, because they helped us, uh, getting to know someone who's ready to
Right.
invest or who's
Right.
liked the idea. Second thing I would say is personal branding. The more you talk about something that you're building, the more trust it builds, and the more people will find out about you. Let's say Wittlesbach is just a company there, and none of us are talking about it. Would you go to my website, make that effort to find out what we're doing? No. So the more people it reaches out to, it's easier to sell to your clients or to your investors. So personal branding is very, very, very crucial in this age of, social media era. I used to not at all be okay with, making myself public online. That was the most scariest thing. One reason being because I studied cybersecurity and I know the loopholes of it.
Right.
I was not really open to the idea. But one day I was talking to like a social media coach who does help founders and coaches to build a personal brand, and he told me that, see, if you don't talk about what you're doing, no one is going to listen and no one's going to buy to that idea. Your competitor who's talking about it has the highest chances of taking your client rather than you. Yeah. So let's say you're my client, you've seen me on Instagram talk about a certain topic or talk about how performance marketing works or like what my results are, and then you come up onto a consultation call with me.
Right.
It would be easier for me to talk to you about what we can do for you,
Right.
rather than just cold converting them on the
Right.
call.
Right.
So yeah, personal branding has also made quite a difference. A lot of investors have reached out to me through personal branding, saying that I really liked your idea, I wanted to demo, or I wanted to have a look on what you're doing, what you're building, and stuff like this. And we've got crazy collaborations with PRs as well. And this is also another thing. The more you collaborate with something that's in your niche, the more credibility it brings to your platform.
Right.
Like we've collaborated with the Macquarie University for testing. Again, we're taking a couple of AI developers who are testing on the product. So when the moment you mention that there's an international university tied up with your product, the students are actually testing on it. I mean, it brings out a different kind of trust for the investors.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, just like that, I think the major part of investors investing in you lies on the trust that you build between the two of you. If you can build that personal connection, if you can build that trust, then I think putting money into your product would be the easier way.
Right. Yeah. So, talking to you feels like I'm talking to my elder self, probably, because I'm interested in entrepreneurship and many things. I would be going on to the same line that you're going, and I will be figuring it out, the rejections part and all that. I'll be figuring it out. But, this gives me confidence that, that I probably make sure that I do the rights, not the wrongs, and make sure I have this prototypes, the proof of concept, etc., etc. But thanks a lot that you have shared. And what are your plans as of now? Like, what are your plans with Wittlesbach, and how do you see yourself, let's say, 5 years from now? I know this is more like a very interview question, but I want to understand what are your plans.
We do have like really big plans when it comes to expanding Wittlesbach AI. We want to expand it to most of the countries. Currently, we are only in Dubai and partly operating in India. We want to actively start with like Australian operations, Canada, UK, and US as well, because these countries do have like one of the biggest population for DTC and e-com owners, and these are our target audience. So we are betting quite a lot on this. Apart from that, when you talk about where do you see us in 5 years, I would definitely say we want to go public and go for IPO, because that's the ability or capacity that this product has, that it can go public, and where every individual can, you know, start using the product in terms of making in money or making just anything using digitally that this AI can help you do. So yeah, in terms of revenue, definitely consider it as your revenue growth partner is what we want to ideally build this product as. So yeah.
You know, I thought of ending it here, but then I have a couple of more questions I want to ask. उसका storage run out हो गया तो फिर से बोल, but I'll have lots of questions to ask. Yeah, so first question, Prardhana, that I want to ask is I mean, the AI product that you have currently, Wittlesbach, you're using it for, I mean, this is a product for e-commerce and D2C businesses, right?
Right.
What made you actually bring in this product? Why? What kind of problem you were trying to solve?
See, back in, like, let's take back to 2012 or 2011. Did you have access to, you know, booking, Zepto, Rapido?
Right, no.
Rapido still there was like Uber and Ola's competitors, but let's consider Zepto or Blinkit. If you had to buy something, you had to go to a store, a nearby store, to like walk and then bring something for you. And gradually it came to the point where you can even order printouts in like 10 minutes. You can order clothes, essentials, electronics, or you just name it, except for medicine. Even medicine, I think over the counter
going on,
over the counter is still there. Except for this category, you have everything available at your doorstep. So that is how rapid e-com, we consider this as quick commerce, but let's take a scenario where you run a clothing store and you're able to deliver to your customer in the next 10 minutes. Expect the amount of orders you would get.
Right.
Yeah. A lot of times I see a product online, let's say on Myntra or like Nykaa or like other quick commerce fast fashion brands. I don't order them because it's coming on some specific date where my event is like somewhere close.
Correct.
Now imagine the amount of sales he's losing at that point because he's not able to deliver the customer the
On
time the
your
customer
desired
wants.
time,
Yeah. Now consider how many e-commerce stores are there. Now, if you take the statistics, there's about 55% of growth from 2019 to now. 2019 were just recently before COVID. Till now, they're about 55% increased of DTC and e-commerce stores. Why? Because there is a $1 billion business module there, and you're not able to reach the $1 billion because of only one major factor, not being able to serve your customer. Let it be in terms of product quality, let it be in terms of time, or let it be in terms of not finding the right targeted customer. Maybe you have the right product, maybe you have the right quality, but you're not finding the right customer. So yeah, that is where we want to capture this major segment of audience. We're not going to stick to this category because this is where the testing of a product is proven. That is why we want to bet on this category of businesses. But once testing on the other industries or the other what do you say, the segment of businesses are working well for the product, then maybe we will roll out another version for these specific businesses.
No, it's really great, and I really would, I mean, to my guest, I'm their biggest cheerleaders. So I will be the biggest cheerleader for you as well, and I definitely want your company to do well. And 5 years getting into IPO is a good challenge as well as good ambition as well. And I really wish you reach there. And it was great having you on the podcast. It didn't feel like I'm talking to someone new. And with me, no guest feels that they were talking to me for the first time. They always think that I was their long lost friend, and I hope I gave that similar.
Definitely.
Right. But having said that, before we wrap this podcast, there are lots of other questions that I want to ask, but I think because of the duration, I'd keep it here. But we definitely have a part 2 as well very soon. Maybe next year, once the company does well, we definitely have a catch up and we understand what new things have happened and what all you figured out about yourself. But before we wrap up, what we do is we do a small philanthropic dare part where I call my guests and I make sure that they do a philanthropic dare because A, they're capable, but sometimes what happens is because of their busy lives, they
Right.
forget, they don't do it. Uh, but then I want to make sure that you get an opportunity with me where we both can together go and do something for the
Sure,
society, right?
sure.
So I have this placard. There's this 1 to 4. Pick
Okay.
your number,
Okay.
and whatever is written with the number, I'll let you know, and you'll have to perform that.
Okay.
Alright?
Okay. 1 to 4, right?
Yeah.
I would go for probably 1. Yeah, I would go for 1.
Oh, it says volunteer your time in a government school,
Okay.
right? So the next time we meet, you let me know what school you would want to. You
Sure.
select the place. Let me know. Me and my team would come there, and we'll talk to kids. We'll inspire them, and I'm sure you'll definitely inspire them the way you inspired me. Thank you again. It was
Thank
great
you.
having you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.